Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive 2026 World Cup semifinal showdown in Atlanta between two absolute historic heavyweights. We've got the defending champions, Argentina, squaring off against a seriously resolute England squad. Both of these teams have battled through extra-time thrillers, they've overcome fierce tactical tests, and now they're just one single victory away from the final in New York.
But to really understand how these two titans evolved to reach this pivotal 50-50 match, we first have to look back at the history that binds them. Because listen, when England and Argentina step onto the pitch together, it is never just another football match. The stakes are always incredibly high, and the margins razor thin. So who's going to break the tiebreaker in the World Cup's most storied rivalry? Let's get into it.
Section 1. A historic World Cup rivalry. Now, this semifinal isn't just about advancing to the grand finale. It's the sixth World Cup meeting in a saga completely filled with unforgettable drama. Historically speaking, these two nations are perfectly deadlocked. Let's rewind. In 1966, England claimed a 1-0 victory right on home soil. Fast forward 20 years to 1986 in Mexico City, and you have one of the most iconic matches in sports history. Diego Maradona's infamous Hand of God and the goal of the century, securing a 2-1 win for Argentina. 12 years later, at France '98, they played out a thrilling 2-2 draw before Argentina advanced 4-3 in a really tense penalty shootout. And finally, the last time they met on this stage was the 2002 group stage, where David Beckham found his redemption, scoring the decisive penalty for a 1-0 England victory. So, 2 wins apiece and 1 draw decided by penalties. They are literally perfectly evenly matched in the history books.
And it goes way beyond the pitch. The geopolitical weight attached to this match is so heavy that it actually leads to unique protocols just to ensure absolute neutrality. It's informally known as the Falklands Rule. To keep things completely fair and above board, FIFA literally does not appoint English referees for Argentina matches. The idea is pretty simple. Any controversial decision against Argentina made by an English official might instantly shift from being viewed as a simple human error to a full-blown allegation of political bias. We actually saw this protocol in action during the 2022 Qatar World Cup. English referee Michael Oliver was heavily favored to officiate the final, but because Argentina advanced to that match, Oliver and his crew were entirely removed from consideration to maintain strict impartiality. It really just goes to show how deeply the history runs here.
Moving on to Section 2. Surviving the quarterfinals.
History aside, both of these squads barely survived absolute gauntlets just to get to Atlanta. For Argentina, they needed an exhausting 120 minutes to get past a relentless Swiss team, finally winning 3-1. The breakthrough? A stunning 112th minute strike from Julian Alvarez. And this came after some immense drama where a controversial new VAR mistaken identity rule left Switzerland down to 10 men. But even with that man advantage, Argentina was pushed to the absolute brink. On the other side of the bracket, England also required extra time to break Norwegian hearts. It was a gritty, grueling 2-1 victory, where they actually had to come from behind. They relied on a completely heroic brace from Jude Bellingham, who was acting as both the emotional heartbeat and the tactical pivot of the team, just to keep their championship dreams alive. So both teams are entering the semifinal carrying the heavy physical and emotional toll of 120-minute knockout matches. Which brings us to Section 3. Tactical evolution and pragmatism. To survive those grueling matches, both managers had to radically shift their team identities. Lionel Scaloni has built what you could call a post-Messi blueprint. For a decade, the strategy was basically, give the ball to Messi. But now, players like Alvarez and McAllister are providing incredible defensive work rate and verticality. Contrast that with Thomas Tuchel's hybrid resilience. Tuchel has essentially trained England to trade their historical aesthetic flair for a win-dirty, calculated efficiency. He's instilled this suffer and survive mentality that completely prioritizes structural control over individual desperation. Both teams are more than willing to grind out a result, making this matchup incredibly tight.
All right, Section 4. Stars, stats, and news. Tactics are great, but tactics alone don't win World Cups. You need superstars peaking at exactly the right time. 8. That is the tournament-leading number of goals scored by 39-year-old Lionel Messi. I mean, despite Argentina's evolved tactical blueprint, Messi is just absolutely defying time. According to SofaScore, he boasts a jaw-dropping 9.3 rating for the tournament. He's got 16 key passes, an expected goals rate of over 1.0 per match, and get this, he even clocked over 125 meters of progressive carries in a single game. He is simultaneously the leading scorer and tied for the most goal involvements in the entire 2026 World Cup. You literally cannot take your eyes off him.
Meanwhile, for England, manager Thomas Tuchel just received massive boosts from his medical staff right in time for this semi-final. Nico O'Reilly, who signaled to the bench with a hamstring tweak against Norway, has been totally cleared with no major strain. Declan Rice, he's fully recovered from a severe sickness bug that literally kept him bedridden for 3 days right before the quarterfinal. And crucially, center backs Mark Guéhi and John Stones are fit and in contention to retain their partnership after surviving 120 minutes in the extreme Miami heat and humidity. England's spine is looking surprisingly healthy right when they need it the most.
Let's look at the numbers in Section 5, Supercomputer Predictions and Odds.
With the tactics set and the injuries cleared up, the cold hard data shows us exactly how tight this match is going to be. The Opta supercomputer literally views this as a coin toss. It gives England the absolute slimmest of edges at 50.9% to advance, compared to Argentina's 49.6%. Think about that. Out of 100 simulations, the computer essentially splits it right down the middle. This data tells us that there is absolutely no clear favorite in Atlanta. It is entirely too close to call.
But looking at the whole picture across the entire tournament, the supercomputer throws us a bit of a curveball. Despite being the reigning champions and having the tournament's top scorer in Messi, Argentina actually sits with the lowest probability to win the entire World Cup out of the final 4 teams at just 20.55%. France leads the pack as heavy favorites at 34%, followed by Spain, then England at nearly 22%. It really just highlights how unbelievably difficult it is to defend a World Cup title. I mean, it's something only Italy and Brazil have ever managed to do.
Which brings us to our final thought. In a match that will almost certainly be decided by microscopic margins, maybe a VAR review or just a single lapse in concentration, what's going to matter more? Will it be the collective, suffer and survive pragmatism of Tuchel's England, or will it be Scaloni's evolved machine, sparked by one final moment of magic from a 39-year-old Lionel Messi? With 2 heavyweights completely redefining their identities and history absolutely on the line, we're going to leave you to ponder what will ultimately tip the scales on Wednesday night. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the match.